Hello and welcome to SA Today for Tuesday, October 21st. We have a great show for you all tonight. Heat lamps are coming to South Campus bus stops. Ebola scams are making their way around the country. And we have ITS Communications Manager Christopher Finkel live in the studio. I'm Gerhard. This is SA Today. Remembrance scholars are doing more than just commemorating the lives of those lost on Pan Am Flight 103. Earlier today, they gathered in the Whitman School of Management to make almost 400 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. The food was donated to the Oxford Inn and Bishop Fowey Foundation for those in need. It was part of their call to action to look back and act forward. The Department of Public Safety is looking into getting body cameras for their officers to wear. They're starting a trial process for some of the cameras, which would be no larger than a pin. DPS hopes to have body cameras on all of their officers by next semester. If the officers were to wear the cameras, they would be required to inform those whom they are filming or recording audio from when doing so. The owner of Dinosaur Barbecue is branching out into new areas of the culinary world. John Stage plans to open a pizza restaurant in the old Mimi's Bakery and Cafe. The new restaurant would feature a wood-fired oven imported from Italy with a menu featuring traditional Southern Italian pasta dishes. The pizzeria will remain separate from Dinosaur, although it will be owned by the same partners. A retired Marine is getting fined for being in a motorcade for a fellow Marine killed in combat.
I know what being a Marine is about. I know how the brotherhood is.
And other cyclists are being fined for not paying tolls. Silcott, like the other cyclists, didn't think they would be charged for being a part of the escort for David Stewart, who was killed in Afghanistan. Silcott wrote emails and letters to the Maryland Transportation Authority and their governor. Events can be exempt from the toll, but have to give advance in notice. Our next story takes us down to Texas. One Houston mother is being accused of trying to suffocate her baby. Cynthia Wood made her first appearance in court today after her baby was taken to the hospital a little over a week ago. A nurse was concerned when Wood was alone with the baby.
She pinched his nose, placed his pacifier in his mouth, put a blanket over his mouth, and her hand over his mouth, suffocating him.
A nurse performed CPR on the baby, and he did wake up. But by the time help arrived for the baby, he had stopped breathing for 3 minutes and his heart had stopped. Police say that Wood also had a 20-month-old girl who died last year. Authorities have linked an Indiana man to the death of a 19-year-old girl through text messages. Darren Van is suspected in the deaths of at least 7 women in northwest Indiana. According to police, Van has only been charged with the death of a 19-year-old at this point. The body was found this weekend near Chicago. Van led police to 3 bodies, which in turn led to the discovery of 3 more. Van is also a convicted sex offender. Jodi Arias' retrial will open today. Arias was found guilty of first-degree murder last year for the gruesome killing of her boyfriend, but the jury could not reach a unanimous decision on whether or not she would face the death penalty. Now a new jury has been chosen. Arias has admitted that she killed her boyfriend, but claims it was self-defense after he attacked her. A verdict in Oscar Pistorius' trial has been reached today.
The following is what I consider to be a sentence that is fair and just both to society and to the accused. Count 1, culpable homicide. The sentence imposed is a maximum imprisonment of 5 years.
Pistorius shot his girlfriend because he thought she was an intruder on Valentine's Day last year. Oscar Pistorius was also given a 3-year sentence on firearms charges, but it is suspended unless he is found guilty of another firearms charge. The Department of Homeland Security announced today that passengers arriving from West African countries with Ebola must land at an airport with Ebola screenings. There are 5 airports in the U.S. where they can land, and Customs and Border Protection will take the traveler's temperature and ask about possible exposure to Ebola. Those who have a fever will be further questioned. The 5 airports have quarantine areas if necessary. And the World Health Organization announced today that there is a testing for an Ebola vaccine. The goal is to launch the vaccine trials by January. The vaccines cannot be given to everyone until the test results come in, but the director of the World Health Organization said there is no vaccine that will not have side effects. Over 4,500 people have died from Ebola so far. Besides the virus itself spreading, Ebola scams are spreading as well. People are being warned not to fall for fake fundraisers, scams, and even Ebola preparedness kits and cures. According to Consumer Reports, one scam involved emails offering a $29 protection kit, supposedly designed by emergency response teams. There is currently no FDA-approved medical treatment for Ebola, and the Federal Trade Commission and FDA said people should file a report if they encounter a fraud. When we come back, we'll tell you about a major change that SU students will soon have to make, and the story of how one cop saved not a life, but tickets. Stay with us.
In the small town of Elmira, New York, a boy was born into an all-American family. The odds of him achieving his dream in the fashion industry? 1 in 23 million. The odds of having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 88. I am Tommy Hilfiger, and my family is affected by autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs.
Hey, I'm Anderson Cooper. As a parent, you want to make sure that your child knows how to deal with bullying when they see it happening. And chances are they want to help, but they don't really know how. Well, teach them that the best thing to do is calmly walk away, find a teacher or other adult, and speak up. And do your part. Be that adult they can talk to and trust will listen. Join me to help stop bullying. Go to stopbullying.gov to find out more.
Turning a 20-foot wall into a canvas takes vision. So will getting into college. I've got what it takes. So do you.
Welcome back. The Student Association announced last night that they will be installing heat lamps at the South Campus bus stops and on College Place. They are scheduled to be installed by next semester. The heat lamps are part of the Student Life Committee's goal to create an environment that accommodates all students, no matter where they live. Starting November 3rd, students will be required to change their passwords at least once a year. This change is being implemented by Information Technology and Services as a security precaution for students. Joining us now in studio is Chris Finkel, the Communications Manager for ITS here at SU, to talk about the changes with the privacy policy. Chris, thanks so much for joining us.
Hello, Will.
So, why the change in the password policy?
Changing your password is probably the best thing you can do to protect your data that's in our systems, as well as protect the university's data that is about you in our systems. And this is an accepted practice virtually at most other colleges and most large organizations of a regular password change, and it's time to bring this level of security to SU.
So this will start on November 3rd, is that correct?
Well, what happens is that we will start sending out notices November 3rd, 30 days in advance of when people's passwords expire.
Okay.
So this will be driven by when people last changed their password, and frankly, we have so many accounts that we're kind of mixing them up for a bit, but eventually what will happen is that once a year you'll get a notice that says your password's going to expire if you haven't changed your password in the last year.
So then once these notices start getting sent out, how long do students have to change their password?
It may be several months before any particular student gets a notice, and once they get a notice, they'll have 30 days. They'll get a notice at 30 days, 15 days, 7 days, and then 4, 3, 2, 1 days prior to their expiration date. So they'll get many notices.
So yeah, as you just said, students will get ample warning and plenty of notices if they're not changing it in time. What happens if they fail to meet those deadlines?
We disable the account, meaning the password won't work. So that means you won't be able to connect your devices to our network. You won't be able to log into MySlice. You won't be able to get into Blackboard. You won't be able to log into a lab in the computers. You'll be essentially unable to connect to anything on the networks here at the university. You'll need to visit the ITS Service Center or call them, and they can manually re-enable your account. But they need to know that you're a real person, is what it comes down to,
right.
And make sure your password gets changed.
So these notices are coming in by email, is that correct?
They'll come by email. They'll go to your CIR.edu account, your official university account, and like I say, you'll get several of them well in advance of when you have to change your password.
So one concern that students may have is, how do they know if the email is legitimate? I mean, there are plenty of fraudulent services or companies that may try and pose as ITS, but they're perhaps not. How will the students know if it's a legitimate
The best way to tell is that the emails we send won't have any links to any websites. You may see a link to our email address, but if you get an email that says click here, click this link, it's fake. It's not us. In general, if you want to make sure and protect yourself from phishing emails, make sure that you know where those links go. Well, we're not putting any links in our emails, so if you get one with a link, don't go there.
So I think that's a great way to make sure that that problem doesn't get run into by students. So there will be no links, just strictly directions for the emails, all going to the SYR account, so in consolidated space. And then, again, just as another firm reminder, because this will be important for students, if they don't meet these deadlines, they won't have access to MySlice, Syracuse Email, Blackboard, and all those online programs.
That's correct. And your devices won't connect to the network either. So it's a hassle you want to avoid and really change your password. And it's a good idea to change your password frequently anyway. So
absolutely. Well, Chris Finkel, thank you so much for coming on.
Indeed,
it's great having you here, and we really appreciate it.
Thanks.
Coming up next, stay tuned for a cop who made a decision that he soon may regret. Stay with us.
1 in 5 Americans is living with a disability. Over 50 million people, including many of our friends and neighbors, teachers and co-workers, heroes and leaders. 20 years ago, the Americans with Disabilities Act guaranteed every person the right to live, work, and participate fully in the American experience. We've come a long way since then, and we are committed to making even more progress in the years ahead. Visit disability.gov to see how you can help.
You realize that 49 million Americans struggle with hunger? That's 1 out of every 6 Americans. These people are around us every day. They're our friends, they're our co-workers, their kids go to school with our kids. Sometimes we're not even aware that they're struggling. This problem is closer than you think. So is the solution.
Play a role in ending hunger. Visit feedingamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank.
We are different. Society should aspire to be more like us.
Be part of the first class. Get energized. Get outside.
Hold on, guys. It's gonna get bumpy.
And get moving. Experience the power of physical activity. Join the movement at actionheroalliance.com.
It's every policeman's responsibility to serve the public, so it's no surprise that a cop would be doing a good deed. But giving away tickets to the World Series? That's a lot. Kansas City police officer Kevin White found 2 tickets to this year's World Series at the Kansas City Convention Center, and he was determined to find the owners.
It's the right thing to do. It's the Kansas City way. It is, to be honest.
Bring Detective White, one of those.
Now, White did find the owner, who said that he hadn't realized that he was missing the tickets. The award for White's good deed? The owner offered him one of those tickets for free. What a nice gesture. I wish that could have been me. Better luck next time, I guess. The World Series starts tonight. Game 1 will be on Fox at 8 p.m. Thank you so much for joining us for SA Today. Be sure to tune in next week. Make sure to follow us on all social medias, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. We appreciate you for joining us. Thanks again, and have a great night, Syracuse.